Hello and welcome back to Versus, the series where I compare games, see what they do right and wrong, and challenge the general consensus. Last time we looked at the respective 3D sequels of the Mario and Sonic series, Sonic Adventure 2 and Super Mario Sunshine. However, while Mario's next big game wouldn't come out until 2007, Sonic got another 3D sequel just a couple years later in 2003. This puts Sonic Heroes and Mario Sunshine on the same ground, with the two releasing roughly a year apart, and that means they too are eligible for a Versus episode. With that out of the way, it's time for these two platforming giants to duke it out once again, and oh boy will this be a tough one. Without further ado, this is Super Mario Sunshine vs Sonic Heroes. As always, let's start by establishing some common ground. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, both of these games once again are from the same generation. Not only this, but they're also both sequels, and therefore have the job of expanding and improving upon their predecessors. In many ways, both games do just this. Super Mario Sunshine makes improvements to Mario's moveset, adds many new gimmicks and mechanics, and expands the story, for better or worse. Likewise, Sonic Heroes makes a plethora of additions to the player's moveset, boasts much longer levels than either of its predecessors, and improves upon the established visual style of the series. With this all said, both games also have their fair share of issues, and this complicates my opinion on these two a fair bit. Let's start with Mario Sunshine. As I've said before in the previous Versus episode, which I'll link to at the end of this video, while Sunshine adds a lot to Mario's moveset, it also overall feels worse to control than 64 did. Not only this, but Sunshine also destroys the entire purpose of the collect-a-thon gameplay style by forcing the player to collect the first 7 shines of every level to reach the final boss. So how does Sonic Heroes fare? Well, the same in a lot of ways. Heroes greatly expands its potential for level design by introducing team mechanics, which involve switching between 3 separate characters in the same level to solve environmental puzzles or defeat enemies. While this is an interesting idea, it's a pretty substantial departure from the momentum-based platforming of its predecessors. Furthermore, Sonic Heroes also has a similar problem to Mario Sunshine, that being the absurd requirements for the any%. While there's a substantial amount of original content when you're just playing through Team Sonic's story, when the other campaigns are factored in, it becomes clear just how padded out the game really is. If you want to properly beat Sonic Heroes, be prepared to replay the same levels 4 times over with very minor changes. So, what's the Versus verdict? I've been debating this in my head for a long time, and in the end, for the first time in the Versus series, I'm calling this one a tie. The more I thought about Super Mario Sunshine and Sonic Heroes, the more I realized that they were kind of the same game in many ways. They both destroy the structure of their predecessors, they both take design risks that didn't pay off, and they're both very unpolished. Even so, they're not complete disasters either, and that makes it even harder to call one better. Mario Sunshine certainly feels true to its respective series than Sonic Heroes does, but on the other hand, I didn't have as hard of a time finishing Heroes as I did with Sunshine. So in the end, I think these games both sit on equal ground. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being one of my more controversial videos, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, feel free to subscribe, become a member if you want, and look forward to more Mario and Sonic content just like this. Stay tuned, thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy life.